Good morning, guys. What's going on? This is Jim with Fusion Grill. This is starting to become my favorite time of the year in Houston. We're starting to come out of the humidity and we're starting to get cooler weather. So what are we going to do today? We got a full brisket prime. I've made a lot of briskets over the years and messed up a lot of briskets. And so I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting on to what I feel's pretty good in my methodology. I did do a big trim on the sides just to shape it a little bit, cut off some of that fat. Now, my rub, what I use for my rub, I use a 2-to-1 pepper to salt ratio. I did a cup of pepper, 16 mesh, with half a cup of kosher salt. I do like to add celery seed as well as garlic powder. And so we're gonna put the rub on. I went ahead and did this other side already. I started off trying all different kinds of rubs, but lately I've just been going with the classic Texas rub, which is just the salt and pepper mixture. And we're gonna go ahead and put it on the Kamado Big Joe today. I do have the Flame Boss 500 fan setup. Just makes it a lot easier to maintain the temp that I want. All right, so we're gonna put it on the Kamado Big Joe. There we go. So it has been, the smoker's been cooking for a while now. I'm going to take the Flame Boss probe thermometer. I like to put it around here on the side. So real quick, guys, I better close it because this thing heats up really quick. I like to go for a 275 cook. I also use post oak wood for my wood of choice. I got kind of lazy this morning. I just want to put 2 big logs on there of post oak. For my lump charcoal, I use Jealous Devil. I've been very happy with it. Very huge, large chunks of charcoal. So what I'm looking for is the color, and it could be around 5 to 6 hours before we start to hit that stall, the dreaded stall in a brisket. But I'm going to look for the color. That's what hopefully is going to drive when I'm going to start to wrap it in butcher paper. And so as far as finishing it, I like to go to about 200, 203. That's when I've been seeing them finish, but I'm going more towards the feeling. When I use a probe thermometer, is it sliding through very easily? Is there still some pull? I think I messed up a lot of briskets because I undercooked them, because I went with temp. And like I said, it's really, each brisket's different. You really gotta go with how it looks and then how it feels as you get towards the end. But around 200, higher is when it seems to start to finish. So we'll let this brisket cook, and then we'll do some spritzing later. So one of the coolest things about getting the Flame Boss 500 is the app and the flexibility and the ability to control the cook. You can sit here, and as you look at the menu, you could see real time what the temperature of the pit is. I put an alarm to remind you. You'll get a text at 170, and that's just for me to kind of look at it. That's kind of normally where I try to monitor and check the briskets. All right, guys, so I had something happen, and this is one of those things that happens when you cook a brisket and you learn things. And the probe thermometer hit. I had it set at 170, and so it went off. It went off at 171. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's too early. So we've been about. I put this in at 7:45. It's almost 10:45. So it's been about 3 hours, and there's no way it's done. So just one of those things that when you look at the cut and where you put the probe thermometer, it's going to have an impact. But normally back in the day, I would sweat it, I'd freak out, and I'm like, okay, now it's time to wrap it. No, it's not, because the bark hasn't really set yet. And so what we're going to do, I actually went ahead and moved the probe to a different part of the brisket, and it's already changed. It's like at 160. All right. So let's take a peek. And so you can see the bark hasn't really set yet. So my probe was down here really low. I went ahead and raised it. It's at 160 now. So I'm gonna spray it. Do a little spritz since it's open. All right guys, we've been cooking for about 6 hours. What I'm looking for is the bark. So let's take a look and see where we're at. You can see the bark is formed really good right here. I've heard some people talk about the bark test, you know, putting your finger on there and kind of seeing if any rub picks up. But I'm pretty happy with how it's set. I mean, if you look at this area, you know, it looks like it kind of pulled some water, so the bark's not setting there. I'm gonna take it out and we're gonna wrap this guy up. All right guys, I hit my temperature of 203. That's kind of like where I like to go. So we're gonna take it off and I'm gonna start checking it a little bit and then we're gonna let it rest. Let's see it. 203 right there. Let's try some other spots. That feels a little, it's sliding a little bit nicer on that side. 203. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off. So I did something different that I haven't done before. Usually what I've done is like I wrap my briskets in butcher paper and then I put them directly into the cooler. What I did this time was I let it rest on the counter and I went to about 165 degrees. And then I put it in the cooler just for a little bit until I was ready to do this shot right now. So we're gonna unwrap it. Okay. Right, there we go. Let's see how we're looking. All right, there she is, guys. You can see like darker here. Looks like some parts didn't set right there. Kind of came off. But let's go ahead and cut into it. I'm looking for the grain. So I see it kind of running along this way. So I'm gonna slice in. So here's the little nub piece. Let's cut off some pieces. So this is a prime brisket. So we're cutting the flat end. Okay, I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna split the brisket in half. This is the point end. Here's the flat end. Here we go, guys. I've been slicing a couple pieces. I'm gonna slice this one. I think this one I'm gonna keep for myself. Nice flat end right there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, as you get towards the middle, it gets a lot more tender. Look at this. This is really good. I'm gonna take a bite of it. It's really good. I like the bark, and brisket's always a work in progress. Always each piece is, you know, very different. Let's cut into the point end and see how that looks. The point end tends to be a lot more of a fattier cut. Let's look inside so you can kind of see what we got here. We got the smoke ring. Let me cut it in half. Oh, start over again. Cut it so we can see right there. Let's do a cut right here. We'll try this nice moist piece. Really, really good, guys. It was almost about a 10-hour cook from, you know, starting it and then letting it rest and getting up to temp. But I enjoyed it. I know my family's gonna enjoy it. You can do a lot of stuff with leftovers. We've been liking to, you know, I like to put it in back seal it and then reheat it that way. And also when we have leftovers, we'll put it into chili. It's really good. But go and cook yourself a brisket. If there's anything that you want to see me cook, let me know. Let's give it a shot. Thanks.